At the recent 2026 Winter Olympics, Alysa Liu won the gold medal for the United States in women's figure skating, breaking a near 20-year-long dry spell in that sport. It was her first Olympics post-retirement, and her comeback completely changed the game. But to better understand the magic of her new approach, we need to take a closer look at why she retired in the first place. It all goes back to the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, where she placed 6th in singles skating, and shortly after, at just the age of 16, with seemingly her whole career ahead of her, she just abruptly announced her retirement, with no explanation. Keep in mind that this is quite unusual, given that most athletes usually bid for at least 2 Olympics. And also, her father spent like nearly $500,000 on her training, so he was quite shocked as well. It was very abrupt and confusing at the time, but now that she's back, she's offered us a little bit more of an explanation. You see, from Alysa's perspective, that time of her life was kind of like a pendulum. She was at one end of the pendulum from age 5, where she was constantly training and her entire life was nothing but the ice, where normal teenage experiences like staying out late with friends or going to a concert simply felt impossible. So when that exhaustion built up, the pendulum just swung completely in the other direction, and she wanted nothing to do with skating anymore. Psychologists call this the overjustification effect, where basically the more you provide external rewards for doing something, like prizes or money or praise, the less you have an intrinsic motivation to want to do those things. And when that reward is removed, the intrinsic motivation often dips way below the original level of interest that you had in that activity. And that's because what used to be play is now seen as work. And sometimes, in the case of Alysa, this can turn into a straight-up aversion. And even if you're not necessarily an Olympian, I think this is something that we can all relate to. I mean, I certainly do. I used to love playing the piano when I was a little kid. It was just weekly lessons and it was self-directed by me, but eventually I started doing these things called Trinity Guildhall exams, which were extremely stressful, and I had teachers telling me that I had to practice at least 3 hours a day if I wanted to do well in these exams. And the overjustification effect took place for me as well. I started to feel motivated by my exam grades far more than I was motivated by just the joy of the process and getting better at my craft. So it's no surprise to me that Alysa decided to just throw out her ice skates and spend all of her time doing little side quests, like taking her first ever vacation and enrolling in a couple of psychology classes at my alma mater, UCLA.
I kind of went right into it when I quit. I wasted no time. I was going to concerts, which I never could have done before. I also got my driver's license, so I could drive myself around, drive my siblings, my friends around. I did a whole year at college and a little bit of the sophomore year as well. I went on vacation for the first time, and I went on many more after that. I went skiing, I went snowboarding. Like, I got to do so many different things that I never would have done had I stayed in the sport. And yeah, I got to experience like real life.
It was only in the process of becoming a well-rounded person, after like a 2-year-long hiatus, that pendulum kind of settled somewhere in the middle. It happened during a ski trip where she felt that familiar rush of nailing a particularly difficult movement, and that excitement led her to tentatively take a couple of steps back on the ice.
Skiing felt very similar to skating. You know, you're exhausted, your legs hurt, you're cold. That's like everything you feel when you're skating. And so I thought, well, if I enjoy skiing so much, there's no way I don't enjoy skating. Because I've been telling myself that entire time that I hate skating, I don't like it. But I thought it would be contradictory of me to think that skiing was super fun and skating wasn't. So I went back out on the ice, decided to try it out, see if it really was fun, because if it was, then I could do something that I enjoyed every day, because the rink is right there, you know?
Not long after that, the love of the sport that she'd grown to resent suddenly came rushing back, but this time through the lens of a completely new approach. You see, most Olympians train with a focus on discipline and rigidity. You're supposed to completely ignore your exhaustion, your stress, your hunger. You just go with the program, you do as you're told, and if not, people will think that you simply didn't want it badly enough. But because of the time that she had spent away, Alysa knew what it was like to grow to hate a sport that you had once loved, and she completely rejected this approach. if she were to come back, she wanted to do it completely on her own terms. She would be in charge of her training schedule, the music that played during her program, how much she ate, when she trained, and everything else. She wanted her love of the sport to be front and center, not just as a display of pure technical skill, but more like a short film, a way to make people feel what she was feeling on the ice, just like actors on a stage.
I get to pick my own program music. I get to help with the creative process of the program. If I feel like I'm skating too much, I'll back down. If I feel like I'm not skating enough, I'll ramp it up. No one's gonna starve me or tell me what I can and can't eat.
And it was that very focus on the expression of artistry, rather than the focus on perfection, that ultimately led her to the podium. And in fact, it's one of the main things people notice when they discuss her performance. Because, as you know, figure skaters are judged on their appearance, so it's not uncommon to see them smiling through their performance. But if you look at Alysa Liu, it seems different. It doesn't seem like it's for the purpose of gaining a high score. She just seems to be radiating pure joy throughout her performance. And another thing that was so striking about her performance was that she genuinely didn't seem to care if she won or lost. You can see it from the moment she steps off the ice to when she finds out that she won gold. Her expression barely changes. There's no tears, there's no overwhelm, just a steady, beaming smile through it all.
When you knew you won that gold medal, what was that feeling that hit you? And don't worry, we have a bleep button.
I mean, it didn't really change how I felt about anything. The moment I finished my program, I was on such a high. Literally nothing could bring me higher or lower.
And it's not just joy that she's brought to her craft, but also presence, being completely in the moment, the unique ability to completely separate the process from the outcome. And for most athletes and performers, this is damn near impossible. I mean, the stakes are just so damn high. So a part of you is always wondering, what if I lose? What if I win? What if I don't land that triple toe loop? Oh my God, stay in the moment, stay in the moment. To most people, her ability to remain calm is almost incomprehensible. And you can see this in interviews when people ask her, like, do you not get anxious? What's your secret? She seems almost unable to explain it.
Do you feel nerves? Seriously, because I feel like we need to bottle this Alysa Liu just vibe you've got going on.
I mean, not really, but I feel like after everything I went through the last time I was a skater, it'd be really hard to be nervous.
It's not something she cognitively knows how to do. She's just embodied it from the experiences that she's had. It's a lesson that she's just fundamentally learned. Perhaps that's why she keeps telling people, but especially athletes, to take some time deliberately away from their craft or their sport to try to gain that perspective, because she knows that experience will be their best teacher.
So when you said it doesn't matter to you, I nodded and said, I know what you're talking about. I was lying. I don't totally picture it. I think, how can it not matter to the athlete when we're sort of all watching you and rooting for you? Is it just a matter of just not putting those expectations on yourself?
Well, it's like those expectations are so shallow, I guess. Like, it's just an experience. It comes and goes. And winning it's like that, you know? I missed 2 world championships. And do I feel a certain way about it? Not at all. I don't care that I missed 2 world championships. I don't care that I won this one. I don't care if I'm not going to win the next one. Like, it just doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I don't know.
That might be why her approach has landed so deeply with people. In fact, there are so many people who had long forgotten about ice skating that are picking up their skates for the first time and rediscovering their love of the sport because of her, because of how fun she makes it look. Another thing that's pretty unusual in the world of figure skating is her appearance. Because figure skating is not just a technical sport, it's kind of gender performance. You're supposed to, through your dress, through your body, through your movements, exude this kind of idealistic, thin, delicate femininity. And she's kind of rejected that with her funky halo hairstyle and her distinct frenulum gum piercing. So I think that's another way in which she inspires people, by just completely authentically expressing herself, even in an environment where your appearance is so policed. Because whether you like how she looks or not, her commitment to truly being herself on and off the ice, it kind of feels like an invitation for other people to do the same. And perhaps that's why people are wondering if she's going to fundamentally change the sport, not just in terms of appearance, but also in terms of how people train, whether they take a well-rounded approach in terms of their diet and their schedule. Is there going to be a new wave of figure skaters that embody her same kind of unabashed joy and radical presence? This is where a little bit of confusion seems to be setting in. I've seen a lot of people argue that her laissez-faire approach just simply won't work for the average athlete. And the only reason she's been this successful is because she had previously already sacrificed her childhood. So 2 years off didn't make that much of a difference. And to those people I say, that is a fundamental misunderstanding of what Alysa is trying to say. Because training will always be part of the equation. You don't win an Olympic gold medal by accident. It will require a lot of training and dedication, but the only question is, what exactly is motivating that dedication?
No. Nah. One more.
I saw that when you were training, and they're like, okay, that's good. And you're like, one more, one more.
Yeah.
You don't need somebody pushing you.
No, I have my own like determination. My determination's like up there.
You're pretty scrappy.
You can work hard without being fueled by self-judgment and without breaking your body into pieces. Instead, when paired with listening to your body and taking joy in the process rather than the outcome, your hard work can manifest into something far more beautiful. So will Alysa Liu create a new wave of athletes that take this brand new approach to training? I certainly hope so. Ultimately, Alysa Liu's unabashed joy, her radical presence, and her commitment to being herself on the global stage reminds us all that pressure and perfectionism are not the most effective tools for success. And in fact, you can do far more with joyful creative expression instead.
That's what I'm fucking talking about!
This is a different kind of video today. I just really wanted to talk about Alysa Liu because she's personally inspired me as well to get back into writing after abandoning it for some 15 odd years. And in a world where we've all promoted this sort of grind set mentality, it's such a refreshing break to see someone truly enjoy what they do. As you might know, we called this channel The Open Table because we wanted it to be a space for raw, unfiltered discussions. So if you have any interesting thoughts, please comment them below, and thank you so much for watching.